Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today I'm bringing you guys another replay, this time from Superakm. You may notice him as part of our alpha team in TSIOF. He's here joined by Kriller, an anonymous chair from TSIOF, and they have managed to find themselves in a double CV game. Now, luckily it is a tier 8 match, and they are tier 6 CVs, but still, two tier 6 CVs can make anybody's day miserable. So he's in Massachusetts, the tier 8 premium American battleship, and one of my favorite ships in the game. As I mentioned, I think a couple of videos ago, it constantly goes back and forth between the Grosser Kurfürst and being my favorite ship. So the Massachusetts has several things going for it. It is it is literally an Alabama that during testing, this is one of the variants of the Alabama they were testing, and apparently they didn't decide to go with this variant for the Alabama, but then we got the current Alabama, which is pretty much kind of like the North Carolina, and that it's pretty much the same thing, except its main battery guns are a little bit less accurate, and since it is not the same class as the North Carolina, its armor is a bit better. It doesn't have the exposed citadel that the North Carolina does. So it's tougher, guns aren't as accurate, and the Alabama has extremely good AA. Not to say the North Carolina doesn't, the Alabama just has some of the best AA for her tier in all of tier 8. Now, the Massachusetts is pretty much in Alabama, but with less accurate guns, better secondaries, German levels of secondaries, might I add. You can get them out to like a Super has here, 11.3 kilometers. He does have a full 19-point secondary build, so he has BFT, AFT, manual fire for secondaries. Now, that means his secondaries, like I just said, can get out to 11.3 kilometers, and American secondaries are extremely accurate. You'll see later on when he's putting them to work just how accurate they are. Now, American secondaries don't have the best pins like the Germans do, but when you're fighting destroyers and light cruisers, they have enough to get by, and plus they are very accurate, and they have a very good chance of starting a fire. So they're even useful when fighting more large, heavily armored ships like battleships and heavy cruisers, because they can set the fair few fires. And look, lo and behold, Super just got a citadel there on the North Carolina. Alright, so also, the AA is pretty much the same as the Alabama. I've checked, and the Massachusetts has literally 4 less AA guns than the Alabama. That's the only difference. Oh, and the Massachusetts has very, very, very nice torpedo damage reduction. The Alabama, I believe, has like 54% torpedo damage reduction, while the Massachusetts has 45%. Another citadel on the North Carolina. He's now up to 41,000 damage, most of it off of that North Carolina, so that North Carolina's having a fun time right now. And speaking of the guns, like Super has just shown, even though the Massachusetts has, I believe, 1.6 or 1.7 Sigma, because it has American dispersion, the shells don't fly all over the place too much. And if you're used to it, it's pretty consistent in its wonkiness, and you can make it work like he just did there out at 18 point, what was that, 18.1 or like 17.8 kilometers. Oh, look at Pensacola, 10 kilometers away. And looks like he didn't give it enough lead. Did not. Now, I'm not the one following the shells. That is Super. All the camera movements you're seeing here are Super's camera movements from when he was playing. So I do apologize if you don't like it, because some people were complaining about that a couple of videos ago. I have no control over that. He targets the Fubuki with his secondaries, and you're about to see those lovely American secondaries. Look how accurate those shells are. Look at that. That is beautiful. Alright, so current situation. Enemy team has captured the A cap. They are currently capturing, that's my Discord, not yours. They are currently capturing the B cap. And the C cap's about a quarter of the way captured already. So not looking too good for Super's team here. Broadside hipper from 9 kilometers away. Wisely decides to stop and step on the gas. Saves him from getting pinned, but does get a couple of overpins for 4,000 damage. Pensacola out there at 11.9 kilometers, now 12 kilometers. He's was playing it wise and running away from about 5 enemy ships, but now he's turning broadside back on to Super. And the Pensacola isn't exactly well known for being a tough ship. There's Kriller and the La Terrible, the tier 8 premium French GD. Pensacola again giving broadside to Super. Oh, there's the Ryujo, one of the tier 6 carriers on the enemy team. Looks like that time RNG did get the best of the Massachusetts shells, and the Pensacola got away with that. Super is now pushing up into the A-cap, it seems. Or is he going to hug his island waifu? I think he's going to hug his island waifu right here. Pensacola coming back into the A-cap, being a brave soul, charging 5 enemy ships. He should be dead momentarily, because this is not what you want to be doing when you're in a Pensacola. And, just one pin. And Super drops his mouse, maybe? Not exactly sure what happened there. Pensacola, is he about to eat those torpedoes? No, he is not. Oh, he just got the Devonshire. Wow. Brave little Pensacola that he is. So Crow's upping up on him. The Sims is shooting him. Super is shooting him. I'm not really sure what this Pensacola is thinking. Maybe he got tunnel vision on the Devonshire. But he's going to be going down right there. Yep, with a 4,000 damage Citadel from Super. Okay, so the A-cap's now open. There's no enemy ships in there. Oh, look, an Akazuki snuck up behind enemy lines. Was probably going for the 2 Ryujos, but got caught by the planes. Kriller's moving in position to take care of him. Super has shot down the 6 planes so far. And Ryujo drops a very, very, very lucky drop on Super, knocks out his rudder. He gets Bismarcked. Oh, look at Fubuki too. So the destroyers finally show up after their cruisers been dead. I was assuming they're looking for some type of revenge. Again, look how lovely those secondaries are. And again, they don't have enough pins to do consistent damage against heavy cruisers and battleships, but against light cruisers and destroyers, they have more than enough to get the job done. Fubuki trying to smoke up, not realizing that you do have to slow down to where you don't outrun your smoke. The wise thing to do would have been to turn hard right and crash into the island and stop himself. But he ate a lot of damage there because he just kept the throttle down when he was dispersing his smoke. A lot of players make that mistake. Remember, guys, you can't outrun your smoke screen if you're not Italian. There's his torpedoes. Super easily dodging all of that. Again, once he lays down his smoke screen, continues to sail out of it, just to be spotted by the Sims. Now, granted, he didn't know the Sims was there, but still. Gets a couple secondary hits on him there, breaks something, but misses with his main battery guns. Alright, so situation, friendly team's not looking too good. They are down 4 ships, enemy team is only down 2 ships. No cap's been capped by friendly teams so far. The Fuso and Anonymous Chair in the Cleveland are attempting to capture the A cap. But being the Fuso has the Fuso Tower, it is spotted from literally across the map. And the Cleveland, well, he's doing his best to go undetected and cap, but the carrier is making that rather quite hard. Also, there were some shells, I'm assuming from the Akazuki, trying to finish off Chair in the Cleveland. And the Vladivostok secures the kill on Chair. Now, the Vladivostok is there sitting nose in, slightly angled like you should be doing in a Soviet battleship. Yep, that's the Akazuki. Trying to finish off, trying to farm damage off of Super. Super's still looking pretty healthy so far. Alright, Super has a secondary is going on the Vladivostok. Again, they will not get a lot of pins, but they will more than likely set a few fires. Yep, there's the Akazuki. Super shifts the secondaries over to him. Ooh, takes a big old hit there from the Vladivostok. Not a terrible hit though, but a pretty chunky one. Alright, so he fires his main battery guns at the Akazuki and gets the kill on him. Okay, so now he has a Vladivostok to deal with right in front of him. Now there is a Hipper out there at about 18.2 kilometers, which is just inside the Massachusetts' range. So he could try to secure the kill on that, since really he can't do much to the Vladivostok, since the Vladivostok is about into him. So he tries to secure the kill. Tries to secure the kill on the Hipper. I'm having trouble with my words today. Carrier's moving on the Vladivostok. Now Vladivostok doesn't have the best AA, but doesn't have the worst either. It's one of the few Soviet ships I find that doesn't have like some of the better AA in its class. It's okay. It's nothing fantastic or terrible though. When I play Graf Zeppelin, Vladivostok is normally the ships that I choose to pick on. Alright, so Vladivostok is eating a lot of damage here from HE, from torpedoes. Tries to pin Super's bow, but manages to hit the cheeky bit on the Massachusetts and gets 4K out of that. Then a Fubuki shows up. Man, the DD's... Oh no, he's back. It's the same Fubuki. He's returned. And again, sailing right in front of Laterable, a Fuso, and a Massachusetts. Now, Super is doing his best job here to play Ring Around the Rosie with the Vladivostok. Unfortunately, he didn't have his turrets pre-positioned in time. I assumed he was going after the Fubuki, but does manage to dodge the Vladivostok. And since his turrets are already partially turned toward the Vladivostok, he's trying to turn to keep them on target, since by the time he turned them to get on the Fubuki, the Vladivostok would have his broadside. There's some Fubuki torpedoes coming in, and he manages to dodge them. Front two turrets did some okay damage, waiting for his rear turret to reload, waiting, and gets a pin off the Vladivostok, but the two shells went in the water. RNG said no. Ooh, big hit there from the Vladivostok. He does have a secondary gun still on the Vladivostok, but fortunately Kriller and the Laterable managed to finish him out. The Ryuju comes down and delivers a Hand of God slap to the Fubuki and finishes him off. Super drops his mouse once again. Alright, so... and that time, the only ships left alive on the enemy team are Kriller and the Laterable, Super and his Massachusetts, and the two friendly carriers. Now, the enemy team still has a destroyer, 2 cruisers, and a BB left alive. Not looking too hot. So, Super and Kriller and the 2 carriers have to deal with the Gajimata, the Normandy, and the Graf Spee, and the Hipper, who's almost dead. Now, the Gajimata only has deep water torpedoes, so he can only torpedo Super here. He can try to gunboat down Kriller and the Laterable, but Laterable is a better gunboat than the Gajimata. And there goes the Hipper. Now, the Normandy, Super can overmatch his bow. Same with the Graf Spee. Graf Spee is just a really chunky target anyway. So if they can manage to do that, they would only have to contend with the 2 carriers, and they have 2 carriers as well. And if their 2 carriers provide them with fighter support and consistently do damage, they can bring this back. It'll be an uphill battle, but they can do it. Speaking of the Gajimata, there he is. I think Super missed his click. Yeah, there he goes. He missed his click to get his secondaries on him, but now there he goes. He's got him. He's also trying to dodge the torpedoes coming in from the Ranger, because after this last heal, he only has 1 heal left. Ooh, takes a hit from the Normandy. Now, remember what I said about the Massachusetts having great torpedo damage reduction? There you go. Only took 2,000 damage from those carrier drop torpedoes. The Gajimata, on the other hand, has deep water torpedoes that ignore torpedo protection. Normandy showing Super a lovely broadside right there, from 11.3 kilometers away. Now, ooh, chunky target, chunky damage, 12,000 damage right there. Looks like the Gajimata is going all gunboat on Super. And that's a good sign. That means he's more than likely turned out of the way of... ooh, Ryujo gets the Graf Spee. He's more than likely turned out of the way of his torpedoes, and he's trying to get Super... yep, there they go. Trying to get Super to turn into them. Anytime a destroyer does that, they're trying to get you to expose your broadside. There's a defense expert. So that you can get all the guns on them, meaning you'll probably turn into their torpedoes. So anytime a DD's shooting you like that, you're selling the right way. Now, unfortunately, Super aimed a little bit too high right there. If he aimed a bit lower, he could have pinned the bow of the Normandy. I'm not sure if he was just trying to get a snapshot off, but he hasn't moved. There's the deep water torpedoes again. He hasn't moved his manual fire off of the Gajimata yet, because he's anticipating to spot him, and he doesn't want to waste the time on clicking back on them on the Gajimata, because the secondaries do take a second to respond to that click. But there's the Gajimata, gets his front 2 turrets on it, and goodbye Gajimata. Got lucky there, almost all 6 hit, 5 out of the 6 hit, and that was enough to finish off the Gajimata. Now the Normandy, like I said, he can overmatch the Normandy just fine. Ooh, manages to bounce the Normandy shells right there. Ranger planes coming in now. He's up to 43 plane kills, by the way, guys. And Normandy's just having... oh, never mind. Ryuju said goodbye. Normandy. Okay, so Kriller's still alive in the Laterable, although he is separate from the pack. Ooh, down to 500 health, though, and no heal on that DD. All they have to do now is manage to either cap B and C or take out those carriers. And Massachusetts, like I said at the beginning of the match, has a great AA. Terrible doesn't, and Kriller is now dead. So now it's Super and his Massachusetts with 2 carriers. Now, it's very obvious that the 2 enemy carriers are going to go after Super. The 2 friendly carriers have much better AA because they're carriers, but since Super does have 2 carriers, and they just did get the reset in there, since Super does have 2 friendly carriers still alive, they can provide him with 5 support and basically make him almost immune to the planes from those 2 other carriers. Ranger coming in with more torpedoes. Ranger, a very squishy carrier. If you manage to hit your shells just under those smokestacks, you will get a Citadel off on the Ranger most of the time. Unfortunately, Super only gets 3 overpins. So, Super's catapult fighters went after those torpedo bombers, and since they went after them, that counts as them being used, and the fighters have to go back to the ship. I really think they need to rework this consumable to where they do run the entire time, rather than if they attempt to shoot down, drops his mouse again there, to where instead of them attempting to shoot down a plane, then they go back to the ship. They should just stay up there the entire time until they actually shoot something down. Alright, so Super just got the solo cap ribbon. Unfortunately, it's that torpedo up the rudder, but again, they are carrier drop torpedoes, so they're not going to do that much damage, even if they don't hit the torpedo protection. Ranger coming in again, this time with dive bombers. Super trying to maneuver as much as he can in a battleship to avoid said dive bombers. And it's like one of the bombs hit. Now notice that even with 2 carriers, he has not gotten any fighter support. Now, these carriers have no other reason to use their fighters right now, except maybe to keep the enemy carriers spotting, but they're not to keep the enemy carriers spotted, but they're not even doing that. They haven't dropped any fighters near the carriers to where Super can have spotting on them to shoot them, and they're not providing Super with any fighter cover. So, and right here, the Ryuja literally flies over Super, but doesn't give him a fighter right when the other Ryuja is about to AP bomb him. Ooh, that was a bad hit there. So Super takes a shot at the Ranger. Speaking of Ranger, here comes the Ranger's torpedo bomber. Super's up to 74 planes shot down right now. Sorry, actually 76 because his fighter shot down too. Gets an overpin on the Ranger. Tries to dodge this torpedo, but he's not going to be able to. But he's going to hit his torpedo protection, so it does only 2,000 damage. He's down to 3,000 health now. Good Ranger sailing away. There's a Ryujo down to 5,000 health. That's one good hit from Super, one good hit from the carriers, because the Ryujo is actually trying to go after him. But his planes got shot down. Again, Super just gets an overpin on the Ranger. Ryujo, again, all Super's got to do is poke that thing and it's going to go down. Here comes the Ryujo, and the Ranger's rocket planes are coming in. Just adding to Super's plane kill count. Ooh, 946 damage there. 1,800 damage there. Super down to 1,000 health now. And he's at... let's see if how many more planes he gets out of this squadron. Again, neither of the 2 carriers dropping Super any fighter support. Okay, so now he's up to 90 planes shot down right now. 90 planes shot down. And not a single fighter from the friendly ships. Okay, he's flying up a shot there on the Ranger. Gets these front 2 turrets off. The Ryuji and Ranger coming back with torpedo bombers and dive bombers there. Takes one last shot at the Ranger. The Ryujo's going after the enemy Ryujo. And let's see. Is he going to finish him off? Ooh, Ranger down to 6,000 health. Super slamming on the brakes to dodge this torpedo drop, and he does manage to do that. But, okay, there goes the enemy Ryujo is down. All they have to do now is kill this Ranger at 600 health. And Super is now down. And what blow would he deliver? Okay, he got, was that 4,000 damage, so the Ranger's down to just 2,000 health right now. So, there's 5 seconds left on the clock. It's pretty clear who's going to win. Just because they managed to keep that Ryujo alive. the enemy team wins. So, a pretty hard carry from Super there, shooting down 95 planes. Unfortunately, the replay website glitched or bugged or something, and I can't get the end screens for this match. But I would imagine Super's on top just with the 95 plane kills alone, let alone the 150,000 damage that he did, and 4 kills on top of that. So, yeah. Remember, carrier players, providing fighter support for the last surface ship left alive on your team when all you have to do is kill 2 carriers that can't outrun it is pretty important. I really can't believe neither carrier dropped a single fighter on him that entire game. And I doubt they were out on fighters on all of their squadrons, but stuff happens. Stuff happens. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Please drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. We are on our way to 15,000 subscribers, thanks to you guys, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you're all having a wonderful day, and hope to catch you guys in the next one.